What's up, guys? This is Acid Roots. I've got Westside Connection's Bow Down project, and this one is particularly strange just because it shows what Ice Cube was up to in 1996. Now, with some of the heavyweights that were there around that time, Tupac was in his prime. You had Nas dropping his follow up to Illmatic, and you had Jay-Z who just came out. In addition to the dramas that were going on, songs like Hit 'em Up and that sort of thing. But uh, kind of a question mark I would have thought would have been Ice Cube as far as what he was doing. Now, he broke out into movies, but he did that earlier in the decade. But with Friday, it kind of had a lasting effect. He messed with the soundtrack, and that was pretty decent with, Dr. Dre, Scarface, some of those folks on there, which I reviewed that. Go check that out. But uh, between that and then the Mac 10 album that came out in 95, so it was kind of, okay, what's Ice Cube up to here? And, eventually that came about in the end of 96 with Westside Connection. Now, Bow Down, that particular song is pretty damn sharp. I mean, I just like the feel of it. I've been listening to it a lot on Spotify lately, and it really, I've seen some of the reviews for it and some of the feedback that it's gotten. Folks have said that this West Side album is what gangster rap needed to be, not just kind of dabbing into it like Doggy Style did and The Chronic did, but actually just no radio ready cuts, just pure unadulterated, gangster rap. And, as far as how many times I've attempted to listen to this project or, gangster rap of that magnitude, it kind of makes me wonder, well, if we're not going to expect to see someone like Genuine on there, or they did eventually mess with Nate Dogg, but I think that was about as close as it got. But so this kind of lets you know, I mean, this is the sort of rap songs that I've been trying to talk about for the past year or so. I mean, it's been kind of sparse me talking about rap lately, but the main reason why is just because we're just making it a day just to put some singer on the hook, and that's a rap song anymore. As long as it has a sharp hook, and it doesn't even have to be a rap made hook, but just a sing-songy hook that kind of feels like is music made for women. That's what you kind of begin to see. So it's good to hear a song like Bow Down, which just feels like testosterone in a lot of ways. So I was pretty proud of that, and just as a supplement to that, the fact that my growing interest in Ice Cube, that sort of thing works. So I can be a voucher for wanting to see everything's corrupt come out. Is something that needs to happen. I mean, 8 years is a long time. Metallica took 8 years off. I'm kind of hoping that we don't have to wait too much longer than that. So, but with this project, as of what I've been doing lately, is I've noticed that, in order for me to want to purchase an album, it doesn't necessarily have to be, 10 songs out of 12 that I like. I'm starting to realize that that's just not the case. My interests have changed. I'm getting wiser. So I'm starting to say, if I like the hit single and a couple of album cuts that, two or three or four album cuts that are actual notable and have some sort of following to them, I mean, that's just becoming, I kind of see as more worthy of a purchase. So that's exactly the kind of formula that Bow Down follows. I mean, folks may say, oh, this is a classic, but when you look at each approach to the song, I mean, the Ice Cube still kind of has some of I mean, just every single beat on this project is not as sharp. I'm going to take a look on Wikipedia, but I don't know. I mean, some of these songs do feel like third-rate gangster rap, but when they're on, they are on. Like Bow Down is an example of that, and the follow-up single, Gangstas Make the World Go Round, is another decent addition, despite how mellow it is. Or it's not decent, it's pretty sharp addition. So that's it's a lazy song, but it's quality. And then a song like The Gangsta, the Kill, and the Dope Dealer, I mean, these are a trio of pretty sharp songs. But Ice Cube is known for songs like, I think the song is called "No Vaseline," which was a diss to NWA. So we get the idea that he can put out a diss song, and he does that with "King of the Hill," which is a diss towards Cypress Hill. So that's another sharp song right there. I mean, I figure that the way that this album works is it's probably going to, there's going to be songs that gravitate more than others, but I figured as long as I found 4 or 5 songs that I enjoyed, that's about what I'm aiming for. So, because really this project is pretty short. There's only 10 songs on here, so on top of that, me liking 5 out of 10, I figured, yeah, you can splurge for that. So that's about as simple as it gets. I mean, obviously, Ice Cube, Dub C, and Mac 10. I really didn't have a problem, messing with this. And for some reason, it's just been the new metal craze that I was faced with 2 years ago is kind of manifested into more of like a rap, new metal from rap artists. So Machine Gun Kelly, Yellow Wolf, some of these folks that actually do this sort of thing and are not necessarily making albums like they were made, like Southern rap or trap rap, some of the stuff that Gucci Mane and some of these folks have been up to. It just is, it has more like, it's just not being a stranger to guitars and a more white rock and white people party music style album. The fact that Ice Cube realized this, and people like ODB realized this, some of these folks, it's really starting to captivate my mind. So between all that, I don't know how I'm going to score this project. I looked at it and I said, I could give this album a 6 out of 10 and ruffle some feathers, but I just don't see that as the point. I mean, really, whether or not, I mean, the whole thing at this point is just whether or not what songs you actually enjoy. And I think as far as that's concerned, for folks who haven't purchased it, it probably is worth the purchase. I mean, if you get buyer's remorse down the road and you're like, well, I only liked 2 or 3 songs, you still got to understand that. I mean, how many, I mean, sheer popular, I mean, this was kind of an ignored release for one thing. The fact that this album even got to the second single for me is pretty surprising, because I don't recall hearing too many folks play Gangsta's Make the World Go Round. So that one's kind of a neglected single. And, on top of that, like I said, this album's 10 songs. So just between the way that some of this has gone, I mean, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here, but yeah, it basically is, yeah, I'd say it's worthy of a purchase. You just have to, I mean, like I said, with the buyer's remorse thing, whether or not you only like 2 songs or you like 6, I mean, just to remember that I think a lot of this is still, head and shoulders above a lot that's come out in rap across the past 5 years. This is just a wake up call, throw up the W. I'd have to I'm not going to throw up the West, but, you get the idea, do it, and we need to holla at Ice Cube and get him to start making some music again. So, alright, subscribe for more fun.